take a stand. I never had to doubt you, don't look away. Everyone will stand around you, begging you to stay. All of this is nothing more than selfish aftertaste. Come and take my breath away. Come and take it. You don't say you will know anything will fight for. Don't say you run away. Don't say you run away from what we're fighting
Welcome to another edition of the Derder Headshot, brought to you by Raza. PaintballAccess.com provided us with the kill counts from the event, led by Nicky Cuba with 28 kills. Moving on to the games. Our first quarterfinals match of the day is LA Infamous versus Moscow Red Legion. The Russians get amped up with a traditional pregame huddle that quickly escalates to a hardcore high-five orgy. In the meantime, Todd gives his own inspirational speech. First point, Infamous does a great job shutting down the snake side of the field, trapping two Russians in the back center. Nicky Cuba and Greg Sewers then push hard on the Dorito side, and Greg shoots out the last Russian player, taking the first point with ease. Next point, Damian Ryan manages to shoot Golov off the break. However, Marcelo manages to fill out and then goes into super snapping mode, putting Damian back into his bunker. With Nicky not being able to control the snake side, and Bobby Avila's getting a minor penalty, it forces Damian to fill out to the snake side. This allows Marcelo to move down the Doritos quickly, finishing up this point. The Russians tie it up 1-1. In the third point, Infamous pushes hard on the snake side, but with Kirill Prohidny quickly taking out Greg Sewers, followed up by Zakharov taking out Nicky Cuba, it allows the Russians to get into Infamous' side of the Doritos, and Kevin Rudolph is the last one, trapped on the snake side, with all the remaining Russians trying to assassinate him. Samoylov manages to get him first, and the Russians take the lead. Next point, Infamous gets off to a great start shooting Godin on the break on the snake side. Damian then makes a little bump and catches Golov off guard trying to make a move. Nicky then takes the 50 stand-up and manages to distract Wheeler from his job for a second, but Drew doesn't let the second go to waste and makes the last two Russian players pay for it. This match is back to all tied up. The next point is a quick one, with Infamous dominating lanes on this field. They manage to get a few kills off the break, and then Bobby Aviles catches Lukashuk off guard in the snake corner. This leaves Kirill in a 1-on-5, but there's just no hope. Infamous finishes this point convincingly with all 5 players alive. The next point, Drew Templeton notices early that there's no one shooting down the snake side, and he quickly makes his move. Godin manages to get into the 50 snake for the Russians, so Drew decides to go stab him, and gets blown up while doing so. Still manages to trade out, and at the same time Marcelo pulls off some one-ball action on Nicky Cuba, leaving Damian and Bobby as the last two alive. Bobby tells Damian, "Hey, he's right there in the snake, right there, can you shoot him?" Damian says, "Not only am I going to shoot him, but I'm going to go get Marcelo too and..." Oh, never mind, that's a ball in my face. After he dies, Bobby tries making something happen, but isn't able to do so. Both teams break out wide for the next point, but Marcelo manages to get into the 50 Dorito early and get a crucial kill on Nicky. The Russians also have great field position with 2 people in the snake, not allowing Drew Templeton to move. With the last 2 Infamous players trapped in the corners, Infamous concedes the point to save time. The next point, Lukashuk says, "Screw it, I'm taking the 50 snake on the break and see what happens." Well, he makes it and quickly shoots out Brad McCurley. The rest of the team follows his lead and they fly down the field, forcing Infamous to concede another point. After this, Infamous just couldn't seem to put any more points on the board.
We just played against Los Angeles Infamous. Great team. They've been playing really good. They've especially been shooting a lot of people off the break. I think most of that match we were actually playing down a body because, you know, they have big guns in the back with Bobby Vilas and Travis Lemansky shooting us. We fortunately were able to pull together, capitalize on, you know, our Gs, stay alive, and get into good spots. And at one point, I got in the 50 Dorito, was completely out of paint. I think I had like half a loader left. Was fortunate enough to get a shot on the back right, wrap on the back center, get a shot on him, and then our team just closed the game. And I think you know, that was a huge momentum point. Started to swing our way, and then we ended up with the victory. So it's a great game, and again, hats off to Los Angeles Infamous.
The Russians take this one 7-3 and advance to the semifinals. And here are the top kill counts from the infamous Red Legion match, brought to you by Paintball Access. Our next quarterfinals matchup of the day is San Antonio X Factor versus Omaha Vicious. Both these teams are known for being heavy gunners, so it makes for an interesting matchup. Paul Conk seems to be having some hopper issues, which gives Colt Roberts an easy bump into the Doritos. From there, he manages to shoot out Brian Bortle cross field and pushes his way down the tape to take out Vicious's last player, getting X Factor a quick first point. The next point starts out in Vicious's favor, laning out Billy Bernaccia off the break. Archie Monomer fills out and tries to make something happen, but with Ryko getting shot across the field, there are no lanes on Snakeside, and Vicious capitalizes on it, taking out Archie and Alex Martinez. Dixon Yang ends up being the last player alive, and Zach Sherman takes him out, tying this game 1-1. Vicious continues to hit their lanes and shoots out Kovar off the break. But Colt Roberts quickly takes out Paul Conk as well and pushes hard down the Doritos. Archie then follows his lead and shoots Bortle out of the snake. Parker Rosenthal and Chris Hooker end up as the last two alive, but after Colt takes out Parker, it leaves Hooker as the last one in the snake, and Vicious concedes the point, putting X Factor back in the driver's seat. Next point, Vicious has all their lanes on, shooting 3 people on the break. It's a 1-on-5 for Dixon Yang, and he walks off the field before Vicious can destroy him. X Factor finally manages to make it all to their spots alive and decides to push both sides of the field aggressively, with Colt working the Doritos and Kovar getting down the snake. After Colt realizes the snake side is clear, he decides to bunker out Sherman while running through Archie's lane. Grayson Goff ends this point with a headshot to Wingfield, putting X Factor back in the lead. Next point starts out with X Factor being able to sneak a crossfield shot onto Shane Colby off the break. Colt Roberts continues to tear up the guys on the Dorito side. He manages to take out Brian Bortle. After he notices Hooker is dead, he continues his killing spree and tears apart Phil Conk and stretches X Factor's lead to 2. Vicious continues having heavy gunners off the break, but Billy still manages to make it to the snake corner. Pat Wingfield tries to make his move, but Morrow stops him in the process. Billy then makes his move to the 50 snake and puts it on Zach Sherman, stretching out X Factor's lead to 3. The rest of the match, Vicious puts up a good fight, but just wasn't able to close the gap.
I just got out there, played a tough game against Vicious to make it in the top 4. We knew they were playing good. They're shooting a lot of people on break. You know, they're really slow playing it, and so if you run into their guns, we knew we were going to have problems. So we tried to match them, come out, break soft, shoot a couple guys real quick, and just mash down, make the moves when we could. Just made sure not to bite off more than we can chew. Worked out for us. It was a good game, and now we're moving into top 4.
We just played X Factor, first game of Sunday. They came out, they ran up the score a little bit. We're up by like 3 or 4 points on us. We did a good job at adjusting. We brought it back. It was and brought it within 1. It was 5-4. And then they ended up getting that 6th point, and it was 6-4 at that time. We figured we had to do some crazy stuff. We had to go at it with everything we had, you know, since we were pretty much up against the wall. And we tried going to the X, and we tried doing some big plays, and unluckily it didn't go our way, and they ended up winning.
X Factor takes this one 7-4 and advance on to the semis. And here are the top kill counts from the X Factor Vicious match, brought to you by Paintball Access. Now on to the semifinals. LA Ironman versus Moscow Red Legion. The Ironman managed to draw first blood, catching Kirill cross field. Ryan Martin then works his way down the Doritos, with the last 3 Russian players trapped on the snake side. The Ironman managed to slowly pick them off one by one. And Pantaleev is left as the last one, with Ryan Martin giving him a hand job. Pantaleev thanks him, and the Ironmen win the first point with ease. The next point was not one of the Ironmen's best moments. It starts off with Spica getting shot off the break, then it's followed by a major penalty on Ryan Collett. Shortly after, Brandon Short gets clipped in his mask cross field. Then LJ is the last one alive. He makes sure he has a full hopper before he goes to work. And then he ends up getting shot in the pack 3 times. And then 15 extra from Axel Godden. LJ grabs his junk in gratitude, and a ref gets jealous, so he throws a flag. The Ironmen lose this point, and will start the next one with 3 players. The next point, the Russians come out with an aggressive breakout, and 3 Ironman players cross it up, hoping to burn down the penalty. However, Berdnikov works his way onto the Ironman side of the field, taking out Humphreys, and then does a nice run-through, cutting up the last 2 players. Marcelo knows that LJ's penalty is almost over, so he gets his hopper ready for him, and LJ gets the shit shot out of him once again. He avoids grabbing his junk this time to avoid the ref getting jealous. No flag. The Ironmen start off this next one with all guns up off the break. But Zakharov makes an awesome move to the 50 stand-up and takes out Spica quickly. Collett finally comes out of the box, but doesn't last very long. Then B Short is getting ready to make a move, but Kirill wraps his bunker at the perfect time and clips him on the hopper. Humphreys is the last one, and the Ironman concede the point before he gets bunkered. Spica continues having no luck taking the snake corner and gets clipped off the break. LJ makes a quick move out to the Dorito side, and Paxton begins to put his beefy manliness on him. Feeling violated and scared, he seeks help from his other teammate Ryan Martin, but he gets shot in the process. Marcelo Margot moves into Dorito 1, and Ryan tucks in so Paxton can go bunker him. However, he gets blown up and doesn't manage to shoot him. Marcelo makes him pay for this mistake and shoots Ryan Martin as well, finishing the point. He makes sure to pay his bunker insurance at the end, and the Russians take the lead 4-1. The Ironmen finally get something going against the Russians and shoot Lukashuk off the break. After this, the rest of the players fall down like dominoes, with Tokahi working down the snake and putting it on the Russians, letting them know this match is far from over. The Ironmen continue with superior break shooting and take out Godin running to the snake on the break. B-Short then moves his way into the Doritos and catches Zakharov trying to fell out the snake side. It eventually ends up as Berdnikov and Marcelo as the last two. But LJ makes a nice move up the center to take them both out and make sure to get some payback, bitch, on Marcelo from the last time. The Ironmen are now only down by one. The Ironmen come out hard, sending Tokahi to the snake on the break, and he makes it clean. Marcelo doesn't pay much attention to him, and Tokahi makes him pay for it with one to the back of the head. Watching his teammate die, Golev decides to make the same move. Shockingly, the same thing happens. Tokahi then puts his focus on the snake, but Godin shoots the small cake and bounces a ball onto his face. Oh, fiddlesticks. In the meantime, things stir up on the other side of the field and Ryan Martin scares the crap out of Berdnikov. Thinking he might have crapped himself, he takes a seat and just waits to get bunkered. He goes crazy from the smell and freaks out, shooting no one. This leaves a 2-on-2 between Godin and Pantalev versus Paxson and Martin. Pantalev makes the first move and trades out with Martin in style. But this leaves Paxson in a 1-on-1, and he quickly gets the job done. This match is all tied up at 4 apiece.
Russian Legion just finished the semifinals match against Ironman. Like in the good old times, we met each other in the semifinals and have given each other a pretty nice battle. So we were leading, then Ironman managed to shoot lots of us off the break. Mike Paxton is doing an incredible job about doing that. And we had like 4 points to figure out how to avoid those lines. Well, we did it, we stay alive, and we picked up the rest 3 points for the victory. I mean, those guys started to be nervous, got a penalty in the last 60 seconds, and automatic point to us. So it was tough, the weather was tough, we deserve to be in the finals. Shall see who's gonna be our opponents.
We just were in the semifinals against Russian Legion, and it was a tough match. You know, they're a good team. We started coming back. You know, penalties just killed us, and they played better than we did today. We killed ourselves.
In the last 30 seconds, the Ironmen had the point won and could have tied up the match, but B-Short has assessed a major penalty for a hit on his hand, and this automatically gives the last point to the Legion.
Unbelievable, dude!
Point you fucking hand it back to him.
Unfucking believable!
What, did you just keep shooting or something?
No! He didn't shoot one fucking paintball!
The Russians take this one 7-5 and advance on to the finals. And here are the kill counts for the semifinal match between Red Legion and the Ironmen. Brought to you by Paintball Access. Our next semifinal matchup is Houston Heat versus San Antonio X Factor. Heat gets off to an early advantage with Konstantin Fedorov catching Grayson Goff in the hand early in the point. Then X Factor shoots themselves in the foot with Mike Kovar getting a major penalty on the snake side. This leaves Archie Montemayor as the last one alive and he isn't able to make something happen. Heat takes the early lead and X Factor will start the next point with 4 players. The second point, Billy Bernaccia takes a convenient bounce on the break, but Heat takes advantage of the power play with San Monville and LJ pushing hard on the tapes. Billy ends up as the last one alive and he takes it from both sides. I knew a girl like that. Heat manages to win this point and there is still some time on X Factor's major. X Factor knows they needed this point to get the momentum back, and Kovar manages to make it out of the box clean while Chad George starts crawling his way down the 50 snake. However, he gets a little too comfortable in there and doesn't notice Archie, who then blows him up. In the meantime, Colt Robert is just taking care of business on the Dorito side. Chad Yaya Bouchez makes an attempt to stop him, but he doesn't notice Todd Morrow is there to back him up. It doesn't work out so well for Yaya. Monville ends up being the last one alive, but that doesn't last very long, and X Factor gets on the board. The next point doesn't start out so great for X Factor, with Bernaccia getting a major penalty on the break. Chad George quickly realizes this and jets his way to the 50 snake. Ryko ends up being the last one alive, but this doesn't last very long with Houston Heat adding on to their lead. Fedorov makes a nice run to get to the Doritos quickly off the break, and Heat manages to shoot Roberts off the break as well. The point is looking good with Fedorov getting into the 50 Dorito, but Grayson Goff makes a move to get the angle on him and introduces a ball to his hopper. LJ fills in behind him and manages to Cyclops Bernaccia coming out of the box. This ends up being a 2-on-2 between LJ and Ryan Smith versus Archie and Grayson Goff. Archie makes a clutch move to take out Ryan and the Snake, leaving LJ as the last one alive with no paint left. He makes a run for it, but he knows there's pretty much no chance. X Factor wins their penalty point, and this is a huge momentum swing for them. The next point starts out great for X Factor, landing 2 people on the break. Then Chad George doesn't feel the hit on his hopper, and the ref rips a red one with authority. After seeing this, Roberts and Archie waste no time clearing off the field, and they make Mishka wear it, tying the game back up at 3. It's finally X Factor's turn to have a power play. Early on, Fedorov decides it's a good idea to stand out in the open. Surprisingly, he gets shot. However, LJ gets himself a double kill, taking out Kovar in the Snake and Roberts Crossfield in the Doritos. Grayson Goff fills out and manages to shoot Chad George coming out of the box. Back over on the Snake side, neither player wants to be the first one to make the move. LJ takes the initiative and he trades out with Billy. Sam Monville quickly fills in for him, but after Mishka gets shot on the Dorito side, he's left in a 1 versus 2 against Grayson Goff and Todd Morrow. He gives it everything he has, going crazy in the Snake, and he makes the only good move he could. But Morrow managed to give him a face full of the only ball he picked up off the ground. For the first time, X Factor takes the lead.
So we're just done with the X Factor game. We beat them in overtime. Really hard game for us because we practice with those guys. They play amazing, especially during this event. And we was up like 2 points, and after we just a little bit lost control, focus on the game, and after our coach gave us some more options in the game to tell them to stay focused, stay calm. And we do our job, so we jump in overtime and everybody knows and no mistakes. And we play better than them, and we took in the finals right now, play versus Russians.
Lost a close match to Houston Heat in the semifinals here in Phoenix Open. It was a really close match. Unfortunately, we started with 2 major penalties, so we kind of got down kind of early. Fought back and actually had a lead. We tied it up, and then we got the lead with a few minutes left to play. And then that last, they ended up tying it up, and we ended up going into overtime. And We had the G count. We had the advantage. We were 4-on-3 in the overtime point, but we were stacked up on one side, and Mishka made a good move over there and ended up shooting essentially all of us out over there. But it was a close match. We played a good tournament. We knocked out Damage, who everybody thinks is the team to beat, and we won pretty convincingly against them and Vicious. So we had a good tournament. Looking forward to playing the finals next tournament.
In the overtime point, Archie manages to sneak a ball into Chad George's foot, but Chad has foot insurance, and the refs ignore it. Archie ends up as the last one alive, and Chad lights his pack up to end the match. Houston Heat takes this one in overtime and moves on to the finals to play the Russians. And here are the kill counts for the semifinal match between Heat and X Factor. Now on to the Pro Division Finals featuring Houston Heat and Moscow Red Legion. The Russians came out hot with the first point taking out Konstantin Fedorov early. Nick Slowiak sees that they're gaining ground down the Dorito side, so he fills out to the can. But then he notices his whole snake side is dead too, so he bumps out to the back center and just isn't able to make something happen. The Russians take the first point quickly. Heat answers back with some aggressive play of their own, sending Chad George to the snake on the break, but he's shot early by Berdnikov. However, Sam Monville fills in behind him and makes his way to the 50 snake. After seeing this, Berdnikov decides it's a good time to do a run-through on the Doritos, but he only manages to take out Dizon, leaving Golev as the last one alive in the corner. Fedorov manages to take him out, tying this game up. Once again, Heat sends Chad George to the snake, but this time Kirill is waiting for it and it clips him on his pack. Then Kirill also manages to shoot LJ, filling out after him. In the meantime, Pantaleev pulls off some stellar moves he's learned at the Russian camp to bump his way into the Doritos. Then Kirill decides he's tired of laning people and goes to bunker out Dizon. This leaves Sam Monville as the last one, and Marcelo manages to catch him in the hopper, taking the lead for the Russians. In this next point, LJ Woodley shows off his stellar running gun skills, shooting Jason Wheeler in the back center off the break. He also catches Godin trying to make it out to the snake corner. This point ends with Mishka bunkering out Golev, then Golev decides to have some words with Mishka, and he gets himself a minor penalty. The Russians end up losing this point. The Russians start with 4 because of the minor penalty, but Monville quickly narrows it to 3, catching Godin doing a little slop in the cake. However, Berdnikov runs and guns out to the corner and catches Monville right in the face. The Russians now have an advantage 3-on-2 with Golev out of the box. But Berdnikov makes a bad move towards LJ. LJ sees it a mile away. Where you going, boy? After this, LJ Woodley and Fedorov pick off the last 2 players and they take the lead. This next one starts out great for Heat, laning 3 Russian players on the break. Chad quickly notices and he jets his way down to the 50 snake. He manages to shoot Zakharov out of the back center, and the Russians concede the point. The Russians try something different and take the X off the break. They move their way into both the 50 snake and the 50 Dorito, putting pressure on Heat. Then Golev does a great snapshot to take out Yaya Bouchez. This is quickly followed up with Axel taking out Monville, and LJ and Fedorov are left as the last two alive. Berdnikov makes a good move down the center to take them both out, and the Russians bring this match back within one. The next one is a long 5-minute point that the Russians need to tie this match up. Fedorov manages to make it to the 50 Dorito first, and after noticing Gulev is close by, he decides to trade out with him. Meanwhile, on the Snake side, Jason Wheeler works his way into the 50, but Chad George stays patient and manages to one-ball Wheeler right in the hopper. He then crawls his way to the 50, but he gets a little sloppy, and Berdnikov makes him pay for it. At the same time, Lukashuk bumps into the 50, and they have a 3-on-2 advantage against Monville and Woodley. Berdnikov makes it to Heat's side of the field and is in a snap battle with Monville, but Monville manages to pick him off and bring it back to a 2-on-2. At this point, about 4 minutes have passed, and everyone is out of paint. Well, everyone except Lukashuk, that is. He decides picking up balls off the ground is better than the full pod that's in his pack. The Russians' coach can't bear to watch anymore, and he concedes the point. Lukashuk sadly drops his pod onto the field in embarrassment. And with 58 seconds left in the match, the Russians aren't able to bring it back.
Honestly, those guys are just playing on top of their game right now. We came out, I think we won the first point, then lost the next one, won the next one, and went back and forth. It was kind of a ping-pong match, and then they just kind of ran away with it. Got up a few points on us, and we just weren't able to come back.
We just won Phoenix Open, Houston Heat, event number 2, took second place in event number 1 2 days ago. If you guys could have been with us in the house before we came over here before this match, if you could have been in our huddles, which I'm sure you probably close. Just the energy, the electricity that the guys had. There was really no doubt, I think, in our minds that we were going to lose, especially after that defeat we had, say, taking second place in the first event. So it's just kind of indescribable. I don't know. Just to get to this point, to win our my first PSP event, the first PSP event is this new team. It's just amazing. It's just something that everyone you dream of, and just to watch everyone on the team step up and play. Say Mishka went down in the last game. It's just amazing. Just to look in everyone's eyes, Ronnie's eyes, to see the tears there, just to see all that hard work pay off, and then come out here and everyone grinded out the last 4 days in this weather. It was one of the best feelings ever. Say throw it up to the Russians because they played amazing. We've played against them like 4 times over the last 3 days, and it was a good time. So thank you, Derder and DQ, Kakuza, and Rob, you drunk, silly bastard. See you guys next time.
And here are the kill counts for the final match between Heat and Red Legion. Thank you for supporting Derder Productions with the purchase of this download. Coming up next, Derder's Short Bus.
Welcome to Todd and Tommy's happy corner of silly paintball clips. Also known as the Short Bus. We hope you enjoy.
I've never seen a speed feed unload itself before.
Yeah, +2 pods. This dude lost 400 balls off the break.
This dude, he might as well just taking a whole bag and just smash it on the ground. Little kids
It reminds me of those old aftershock practices.
This stuff sucks. He's gonna have to lose another one too. 2 open.
Yeah.
One's probably gonna come flying out.
It's a half hopper.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right here from Upton.
This is why it's like, nah, man, they're keeping stats, player, going and get out of that 50. I'm holding it down over here.
His boy turned the other way real quick.
Let me get these kills. Yeah, not going to work.
I'm gonna look this way and pretend I was loading so my boy doesn't know that I shot him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'll
6
handle
times.
that.
Square in the face.
Yeah.
He's just taking balls 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can tell somebody takes a lot when they already have well.
That's ugly. I've never seen a teammate to teammate that ugly.
Hey Pax, it's really hot over here, man. It's really hot. I'm just gonna back up, relax,
Practice my moonwalk.
sit down in the shade for a bit, bro. You take care of it. I'm just gonna lounge over here in the shade. Relax.
Baby fat kid to the corner. And backwards man, backwards man.
Dive into an imaginary bunker and reverse crawl out of it. It's usually bad when the balls come from behind you and hit you when you get shot from the back.
Equivalent to a bounced check, if you will.
Here's something you never see from the Russians. Loaders falling off.
Malfunction.
Why can't these guys get a gun sponsor with a decent feed neck? They need a feed neck sponsor. This is crazy right here. A clip of CEP not getting a penalty. That shouldn't be on the short bus. That should be on the highlight reel.
For sure. CEP's highlight reel, at least.
We're not going to call a penalty on you. You already got too many people in the box. There are 2 people in the box right now. There's the guy kneeling down, and then there's the guy standing up in the back.
Oh, wow.
Hey, bro, we give you a penalty, but it's already too full. Maximum occupancy here is 2.
You have to head down the street. Get price line, player.
Other box, bro. Oh, what'd you say, Nikki? Huh? You hear Nikki in the background right there?
Yeah. Sorry, Damien! Sorry! Shoot them all. Shoot them all. Every one of them.
I better get whoever I can before I hit the box. Watch, he comes out and he smokes Tony. Tony's like, for real, bro? For real?
Come on, man.
I got this red pants on. I got a giant body armor wearing, and you're still gonna shoot me in my armpit. I'm wearing a hat with the visor flipped up. Got white goggles on. How did you not see me?
Oh, I think it was an armpit
like,
shot. It's a high endurance boy.
Tony's like, for real? Sorry, Tony. Not sorry. Something in French.
Face?
Do these count in America?
They say Cyclops.
Does this count?
They say Cyclops.
Does this count? Everywhere else you get a red flag for that, right? Hey,
Neon pirate patch.
He's like, hey, all right. Hold on a second, I can't see.
This right here? That over there?
Does these count in the United States? Yeah, sorry, Axel. You gotta get here. Oh, sorry. Oh. Hey, check this out. Zach, you get so many penalties, we're just gonna go ahead and leave one up there for you. We're tired of throwing it. Everybody had Tommy John surgery over the off season. It's the first event, bro. Okay. You see that up there?
You know how many rotator cups you've cost the reffing staff, player?
Man, PSP don't have surgery for this.
Nah,
They don't have medical insurance.
There's no health insurance for the ref squad. I mean, they pay us decent, but there's no health insurance. This ain't Starbucks.
Man, I'm getting tired of throwing this up here. He's like, look at that, Friday Night Lights, Zach Wake, hanging from the rafters. Hey Zach, when you get more major penalties, we're just gonna go like this. Yo, Zach Wake. He's just gonna be like, all right. Boom. He takes a self-inflicted 68 bottle to the face.
Down goes Frazier.
He never mentioned anything about that either. Yeah. He never came in like, hey guys, did you guys see me hit myself in the face?
I might have offset my jaw.
Does my jaw look messed up to you guys? Does my jaw look funny?
Chad George was shooting his gun until he realized that Fedorov set the world record for vertical leap headed into the first Dorito.
Gate 57, flight 88 is now leaving out of Gate 57.
Oh.
Air Moscow. Right here.
Although he made it alive, he definitely managed to distract Chad George enough to get shot with the acrobatics.
Chad was like, Fedorov, holy shit! Aw. Did you see that, son? Chad George was like, you get him.
Oh, look at that. Fedorov has to squeegee. I wonder why he's got to squeegee that Lux in the desert. Air Moscow, return flight, round trip.
Ticket. About to land in Seattle.
Round trip ticket.
Here you go. You got it. You got it.
And he stays in bounds with a minor Russian sea walk.
Give the little perch. Gave Knight the flying Air Moscow right here. The Airborne 88. Airborne 88 to the dome. Don't forget to cross legs.
Yeah.
He went cross
heel.
legs.
It's a heel tap. There's a bit of you work that heel tap.
Little heel tap, mid-air heel tap. Jump up, just bonus ball them floating in mid-air. Oh, take me. Take me now. Right here in the middle of the field. Bro, I'm not going to do it right here. Everybody's watching. I don't care.
You know they're spending like a lot of money on this webcast.
Hey, love is love. Let's make love in HD. Right here on the webcast. Give it to me.
Right on my chest.
Come here.
Put it on my chest.
Sit on my chest. Come sit on my chest. You know what? We're getting our butts blown away over here.
It's one of those days. Who's running your pit crew? That's what I want to know. Who's in charge of this operation?
He wiped off just enough. He's like, don't worry, there'll be more there in a moment anyway. Why clean it?
Yeah.
All right.
Our microfibers are saturated. Just handle business.
I'm getting tired of cleaning these goggles off. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the goggle heads on there.
Can you see? You can see? All right, you're good.
Damian Ryan with the okie doke. Hey, look over here. Surprise, bitch. Look over here. Well, bam. That ref's just like waiting to give a penalty. He was like, oh, say something. Oh, say something.
Yep.
But here you clearly notice horn.
Oh.
Horn, speech.
Hits him with
flag.
the yellow, so that's a yellow and a red.
You know, I'd like to represent my client, Mr. Charles Schwartz, in this case.
Yeah.
Here at the law offices of O'Donnell Martinez and O'Donnell and Martinez. And I failed to see where our client actually deserved this penalty since the buzzer had already blown.
I'm going to completely agree with you there. We all know possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yeah, and as long as he's possessing that flag in his pocket prior to the horn blowing, it seems
I mean,
kind
the
of
client
illogical.
Chuck's, he's simply being a competitor. I'm pretty sure this, I smell a malpractice suit on behalf of the Zebra crew. Defense. 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 Charge!
You know what nice guy Sam Monville is? He's like, hey bro, watch out for Chad George. Whoa!
Yeah.
He let him know.
Tip. Insider trading tip.
I just want to let you know Chad George is about to come. Here comes Monville again, letting people know.
Yeah.
Here comes Fedorov.
Yeah. Air Moscow.
Watch out. Sam Monville, he's good with the heads up. He's like,
he is.
y'all better watch out.
Yeah. Tip artist.
Every time you see Sam Monville standing up to walk out, just start spraying.
Someone else is diving head first. Anytime Sam's standing up. Look out.
Oh shit, here comes Fedorov. Whee!
Barnum and Fedorov present Phoenix 2012. Sponsored by Air Moscow.
Hey, LJ! Scott Kemp's over there. Do you hear him?
Hey, LJ! We got a red! We got a red! LJ!
We got a red, bro! LJ, you're the last one left,
LJ! It's a 3-for-1!
You better get out of there!
LJ!
It's me! Scotty! Where did you get this Are you listening to this? Because you're like 70 and you're not supposed to be dancing like that.
He's got his partners in the background warming up too. He's about pounding a beat.
Old school, baby. Hey, let me jam with you. You want to jam? Jam session tonight, bro? Thank you for watching Derder's Headshot. My name is Todd Martinez.
And I'm Tommy O'Donnell.
He is, whether he knows it or not. Get your shit together, Tommy! This is showbiz. Keep it right.
Yeah.